So I'll start the story by telling you a little bit about myself. I was raised in a wealthy suburb about 30 minutes from Washington DC. My father is a semi-famous photographer, adventurer, so I suppose it's in my blood. I went to college for about a year but dropped out due to bad grades and partying too much. When I returned to my hometown, the realisation hit me that all my friends were off at college. I had one friend that I had stayed away from in high school, probably trying to climb the social ladder. He shared my passion for adventure, the unknown, and of course the outdoors. It all kind of started because we were always looking for a place to do illegal activities, the things typical parents say aren't allowed under their roof, yet 20 miles away in DC was legal. So we started hanging out in the abandoned house we had found in the forest, and I think that's where my obsession started. We raided the house from tons of vintage clothing, sunglasses, weird hunting equipment, maps, the list goes on. It was a rush, like solving a mystery. Where did these people go? Why did they just leave all this stuff? From there I spent entirely too much time trying to find other abandoned properties to explore. Figuring where there's one, there's multiple. And boy was I right. Google Maps satellite views proved to be a very helpful tool for finding these ghost houses. You're probably asking yourself why I'm writing this. It's not scary. But hold on, the best is for last. The point of all this is that breaking into houses, abandoned or unoccupied, was a normal occurrence for me. It didn't frighten me, but gave me a rush, so when this next part happened, you must understand this was not my head playing tricks. So it was a typical day for me, searching Google Maps looking for my next adventure. I came across a farm-type looking property that was not far from a road but had no visible driveway. Dead giveaway, it's abandoned. I cased it out from the street during the day, solo, and decided to call my partner in crime and see if they wanted to go check it out. No stranger to this type of thing either, he agreed, and we set up a time to meet so we could take just my truck there. I had saved a picture of the satellite view on my phone. I'll try and upload it. But as we pulled up to the property, I pulled out my phone to orientate the map to our location, so we understand possible escape routes back to the truck should anything happen, police or worse. That's when I noticed I'd completely missed the third building that was far from the rest of the buildings on the property. We agreed that we should check this one out first since it seemed more mysterious. It was a good 200 yards back in the woods and involved cutting through 2 razor wire fences. We finally arrived to this little white wooden house. It had a small shed that we decided to check out first. This 20 by 20 shed contained everything from garden tools to garbage bags, to cans, to children's toys. We couldn't see the floor. Uninterested in a shed full of garbage, we made our way to the decrepit 2-storey house. We got to the porch and found a table with a solar panel light on it, which I now realise means someone was there when it had no power, and after the invention of the solar panel, because this house looked to be built in the 20s maybe. The basement was a classic looking door on the outside of the ground with a staircase that went down, and just found boxes of VHS tapes marked with weird names like It's Going to Be Alright and Sometimes You Never Know. Others just had dates on them or days of the week. There were boxes of Polaroid pictures, but we couldn't make any sense of them. None seemed to be of the same people. Some looked like the people did not know their photo was being taken, except for one guy who was in multiple pictures. The basement was not connected to the upper floor, and all the doors and windows were boarded up, so we looked for the best one to break off and continue in. The room that window we entered had more pictures in it, but they were on the floor like they had been thrown at the wall. As I entered the hallway, I got my first hint that something weird had happened here. Staring me right in the face was a fuzzy teddy bear wearing a woman's bra. I believe me and my friend both looked at each other with a what the fuck kind of look. We kept going and found a room with bunk beds in it, and to our dismay, more stuffed animals wearing bras. Perhaps the most chilling thing was finding children's colouring books, vocabulary and spelling books that were of a very elementary level. seemed to indicate that kids had lived here. The kitchen was pretty much the last place we went before deciding it was time to leave. I first noticed the mirror next to the sink had the words, "You were beautiful," written on it in lipstick. In there we found many liquor bottles, tubes of lipstick, and in the sink a red hair women's wig. The place just felt like something dark and sinister had occurred in it. The first thing I typically do when I find a new abandoned house is try and estimate the last time it was inhabited. Before we headed out of there, I ran my flashlight by the floor and found a bag with some Gatorade bottles in it. They didn't look old, and I was right, the production date was only 1 year from the date we were there, meaning someone had been there for the last couple of months. Upon me informing my friend about this, we got creeped out. Someone may be watching us or whatever, and decided to leave. As we calmly walked away from the house, we both began to hear singing, like a child humming a nursery rhyme or something, but we both agreed it was the wind. Now 100 yards away from the house, we hear an unmistakable child's laugh. Neither of us say anything, but simultaneously feel the need to start running. We didn't stop until we got back to the truck. We drank pretty heavily that night, joking about stuffed animals wearing bras, and while we still kid about it from time to time, that was the last time we ever went into another abandoned house.